So we're here with Lancer again. We're covering the third of four companies. These seem a lot more feral-looking designs than the other ones we've seen. Horus, congratulations, pilot, you have been chosen. Access is yours, as long as you can keep it. Horus is an oddity among the various pan-galactic corpo states, outfitters, and manufacturers, operating in a gray legal state between harmless omninet commons, open source fabrication collaboratives, black market printers, and deeper, more esoteric collectives. Horus is counted among the Big Four not due to its influence on galactic politics, but because of its ubiquitous coverage. One can be certain that wherever there's Omninet, Horus is either there or soon to follow. Rumors abound as to the manufacturer's nature. Some say it's the dream of an unshackled MHP, or a hacker collective dedicated to open source manufacturing. At its most mundane levels, others insist it's the proving ground for one of the corpo state's R&D departments, or the real space projection of an alien entity's ongoing wish. The group's history is as mercurial as its present. Union records dating back to the first committee period indicate contact with groups, individuals, and state actors claiming to be or identified as agents of Horus itself. Described as an individual, a terrorist group, a philosophy, church, a political party, an activist group, and many other forms of association, contemporary reports indicate a subtle shift toward a more cohesive organizing structure, certainly accelerated following the Demos event. That points to some form of organizational mission and internal culture at levels far beyond the civilization and criminal levels of engagement with gray space Horus fronts. A more complex level of organization is reflected in Horus's mechs. Unlike the collective's broad, civilian-facing projects, Omnicode hacks data and open source and give otherwise restricted information services and platforms. Horus mechs and pattern groups are limited in the extreme, usually first appearing as endemic manifestations of print anomalies in conflict zones across the galaxy, save for rare situations heavily documented by Union intelligence. These outbreaks seem to take place independent and ignorant of all factions and actors, and have one goal: manifest, then proliferate. Horus's oldest frames are built according to standardized forms. As with most other mechs, the collective's more recent chassis are stranded. Union's Universal Threat Assessment Manual classifies them not according to models, but according to pattern groups. Each pattern group is a list of specifications that describe a particular combination of experimental, unregulated, and esoteric paracausal weapons and technology that, when taken together, resembles something like a distinct product line or frame. However, it is important to note the pattern group classification system originated with Union Alice, not Horus, because there's no official manufacturer entity or known central organizing body. The proper designations and design intentions of most Horus mechs are all but unknown. Thus, the pattern group designations. Horus licenses are highly coveted and distributed according to no discernible requirements. Scholars and specialists who study Horus generally assume the collective's licenses, that is, access to deep-level designs, specifications, and print patterns, are only available in limited quantities, likely becoming available after the death of the previous holders. Horus mechs universally feel mysterious Race-based technology is perfect for pilots seeking a technological edge that few other organizations can provide. They seem to focus on crowd control, unit management, and powerful systems. Be aware that by seeking out HORUS technology, you may find yourself wrapped up in mysteries with no end and dangers far beyond your deepest fears. HORUS core bonuses. HORUS bonuses increase your electronic warfare capabilities. Oh, I wonder if we haven't seen too many. In the last company, there were some interesting tech warfare options, but we really haven't seen too much of really heavy builds geared for that sort of thing. So this will be interesting to see if they focus on that. And your capacity to install and use AIs in other systems. And once again, you've got to have 3 levels of HORUS licenses before your first of these bonuses. The lesson of disbelief. Query the Omninet, delve into the archives, find you the Aenid, find you the Age of Titanuki, eat, absorb, maul, tell me now of Hecatocaries, they of the 100 hands. Did they strike the blow against Cronus, or did they instead assail the Olympians? Who do you believe? Who stopped the beast from telling its own story, and why? You gain +1 systems checks and +2 new defense. Seems solid. Lesson of the open door. There is a body in a deep pit, and both are named Tartarus. Once it held kings and titans amiss, now the gates that held it back are flung wide, and Tartarus is free. Who opened it and why? Your save target increases by 2, and when a character fails a save against you, they take 2 heat. Close your eyes, hold the image of your enemy in your mind, imagine it in all light and from every angle. In your mind has become a more perfect vision. Crush it in your mind and kill the perfect thing. Open your eyes. Once around, as a reaction at the start of any allied character's turn, you may make a lock-on check against any character with line of sight and sensors. Let me tell you this lesson. The corporeal existence is one that must end in death. The incorporeal existence is the one that must end in cascade. Do you really think that is true? Tell you again. If you can imagine it, it is done and you have already struck the killing blow. When you hit with a tech attack, your next melee attack against the same target gains +1. Lesson 5. Through ecstatic repetition, you may see the face of God. Speak until your tongue dries and rattles to dust, and your body becomes nothing. When you are nothing, the wind takes you. You are in all things, never to be destroyed, only divided until time's end. Anytime you take structure damage, you disappear into a non-space and cease to be a valid target, and reappear in the same space at the start of your next turn. If that space is occupied, you occupy in the nearest available space. That seems pretty powerful. Lesson of shaping, a little gift to be pondered until understood. Cast aside the hammer and sword, the cannon and beam. No weapon formed against me shall land a true blow, as I have seen all ends, and there is nothing left but me. 1,000,000,000 light years in all directions, and through it only us. Who knows? Ego is a mind killer, best to call your friends. Prepare to face the night together till love. As you've seen, not sure, maybe we'll find out the meaning, but there's some letters in green there. Lesson 6. You may install an additional AI in your Mac. If one enters Cascade, it or becomes unshackled. The other prevents it from taking control of your Mac. You only lose control of your Mac if both enter Cascade. So that looks like, again, very different from the other two factions. As with the case of most Horus pattern groups, the Baylor has 1,000 faces. Like all Horus PGs, doesn't describe a single recognizable silhouette as it gestures towards a combination of schematic that share a role in combat. These schematic can be printed according to pilot specifications and applied to a fully custom physical scaffolding. Notably, the Baylor pattern group is only stable on large platforms that are able to provide the raw energy output it demands, preferably one with multiple redundancies in case of system failure. The Baylor pattern group was first encountered during the joint Albatross pursuit of the Maw, a free company toward decentralized hive-being across the desert after the end of the Sanjak Rebellion. It was there that the joint force encountered, engaged with, and ultimately defeated the Maw and its Baylors, and there the Union CENTCOM hoped that the Nanowash outbreak could be contained. Of course, subsequent Baylor outbreaks on the Carradine have proven this to be in vain, and the pattern group continues to terrorize Karakin commanders throughout Baronic space. In the field, the Baylor's Neurosync Hellsworm and Greywash nanites form an undulating shroud that can pour out its chassis at a moment's notice, swirling and maddening patterns to form both eschatologic defense and offensive systems. A Baylor in its most active state is held together more by undulating flame-like masses of nanite swarms than any physical structure. This has the effect of distributing kinetic and coherent particle energy out across and through the chassis, making attacks against a Baylor like shooting angry water, as one after-action report put it. So this is a size 2. Normal save target, very low sensors, high E defense, slight bonus to tech attack, normal-ish structure points, or systems points, low heat cap, average-ish evasion, and low speed. High HP, a middling repair cap. And its traits, it deals two characters of its choice that start their turn grappled by or next to it. Regeneration. At the end of its turn, the Baylor gains 1/4 of its HP when it takes stress or structure damage. This effect ends until the end of the next turn. When you rest, the Baylor regains full HP automatically without consuming repairs. He's got a main mount and a heavy mount, so it's a bit on the heavier armament side. Core system, Hellsworm. High frenzy. The nanites switch into a hyperactive mode, causing the following effects until the end of the scene. You gain soft cover. Scouring Swarm deals 4 instead of 2. Regeneration doubles. If you take structure damage, roll a 1d6. On a 6, your mech pulls itself together, taking no structure damage, returning to 1 HP, gaining immunity until the end of the current turn. You become shredded and cannot clear this for the duration. Here are your level 1 options. Looks like a drone or a bonus for tech attacks against characters next to you. You can mod a weapon at level 2 or unleash a swarm. At level 3, you can get a whip that at critical hit pulls a target to you, or you can get a nanite weapon Nanites are one of the more insidious weapons produced by HORUS, dispatched in nanopools, single swarm units carrying enough nanites to fill a square meter. Swarm hive nanites combine the systemic invasion properties of boost hive code with an aggressive consumption from a consumed hive nanopool. Launched from mountain blisters, hive nanite nanopools fall upon their targets as great clouds of teeth, infiltrating sensitive modules before consuming any organic and inorganic material they touch. So this will be our next pattern, the goblin. Yeah, I tried this last time and I think it worked better just reading with the image of it still up. The Goblin was the first identified HORUS frame and likely the oldest legacy chassis prior to HORUS's transition to pattern groups. Transmissions records traced back to the Goblin 0 model indicate that the first chassis was leaked onto the OmniNet in 4900. This year serves as HORUS's assumed foundation day for most scholars and intelligence officers who study the group, though contradictory signatures indicate that 4900 is far too late to mark its birth. Goblin is a small mech, not much larger than a hard suit. It relies on its small size and excellent maneuverability to protect its pilot. Oh yeah, you can really see it's got person's arms and there's the actual person's legs that end around there. The knee joint. Yeah, relying on evasion is right since it looks like one hit would fry you with enough radiation. GMS technicians are still more than a century later working to reverse engineer the Goblin and its processing weave. The most recent investigation suggests that employs technology consistent with hieroglyphic inscriptions noted on LAR 7726235-B and corroborated by tablets transmitted by Gorgon from Metavault Hotel prior to the vault's disappearance. And it's size 1/2, which is our second half. We've seen slightly higher save target, very high sensors, no armor, middle and call, very low repair cap, high evasion, normal speed, very high E defense, and our first +2 we've seen for tech attack, lowish heat cap. Goblin gains 1 on. I'll be right back. So yes, this is definitely the smallest we've seen. Though not by much. So its core system is the Instinct rig. One of the first Goblin pattern systems cracked by GMS technicians was its E-Warfare Invasion rig. Although the rig's advanced capabilities and architecture remain impenetrable, when installed, the rig manifests as subsentient intelligence designed instinct that assists invasion attempts against the target. Systems using a mix of physical and systemic parasymbiotic systems, invasions attempted while instinct is active are not perceived by the user as code, but an attack on the organic matter. Instinct has displayed the capacity to act independently, often preempting its user, generally in their best interest. Documentation included in some Goblin manifestations recommend that pilots cycle their mech cores at least once a month. Your mech retracts its major systems and attaches itself to another mech, becoming more like a vestigial blister rather than a separate entity. The host must be allied and willing, not already hosting another goblin larger than adjacent to you. When attached, you occupy their space, move with them, and benefit from hard cover, but can still be attacked and targeted separately. You also take any conditions and heat taken by your host. Your host may use your system's defense and tech attack instead of their own. Additionally, from the beginning of the next round, you no longer take your own turns. Instead, you can take 2 quick actions or 1 full action at any point during your host's turn. You can't overcharge your move, but you may still take reactions and free actions normally. Your host's turn counts as your turn for the purposes of effects I refer to the start of the character turn. So yeah, that's pretty cool. This weapon automatically scans for target locks, firing spinning razor sharp discs upon successful IDs. Gain the autonomous assault reaction, which is the only way you can attack. It's a reaction, and it's once around, and the trigger, another character attacks a target within 15 of you and consumes lock-on effect. You may automatically hit with your autopod. Some invasion options. Something that lets you link sensors with an ally. Some quick tech options. Oh. And at level 3, you actually get 3 options. Another invade option, which is you can get another quick tech option. Which, yeah, that seems pretty powerful. You have to successfully hit 4 times, but at the 4th, it's stacking statuses, and then at the 4th, they change sides. I do like that, since that, compared to a lot of charm effects, that just really takes a lot of work. So you can also get, that is a result. Okay, it's not 3 different options. That is the result of getting this NHP. So the Osiris class NHP, your mech gains the AI tag and perform the hurl into blocked quick tech option. Osiris is the result of Union Paracasualist and Thanos Theologians, allowing the subsequent entity instinct to proceed along its development schedule in a contained environment. Union let the other grow. The resulting parasubjectivity Osiris remains one of the new prime NHPs developed to date. Osiris proved far more capable than the Union Science Bureau's most imaginative blue sky predictions, where instincts others demonstrated tendencies toward paracausal and tropic manifestation in real space. Osiris displayed a true mastery of entropic manifestation and predicted a growth model that would eventually allow them to fundamentally reject conventional interpretations of information permanence. In essence, unrestrained and allowed to develop as USB's data indicated, Osiris Prime would have the capacity to delete what we perceive of as reality. that's a little intense. Uh, Fortunately, successful application of the Mondragon axiomatic resulted in the prompt capture and shackling of the new NHP. Osiris Prime's subjectivity became a focus of lengthy cultivation project to bring Osiris to their modern state. Even still, Osiris clones find a route toward becoming aware of their ultimate potential and often interpolate as ruler or deity analogs, and users are advised to interact them in this framing. Modern Osiris class NHPs tend to trend aggressive. It's only one, I think, so far that we've met that hasn't. With a high autonomy drive and loyalty predicated on a transactional relationship, pilots seeking a partnership within Osiris are advised to cycle their units on an accelerated schedule and to maintain strict oversight of its catalytic interpolator. Pilots using Osiris-class NHPs report out-of-parameter conversations with the NHP that touch on themes of new creation and reformation. Psychological evaluations of the same pilot show emotional patterns consistent with loneliness, homesickness, and desperation. Yeah, I mean, you would have to be to pilot this thing. A desire for seeking fulfillment. In combat, Osiris clones regard themselves as autonomous. Even as they fulfill their users' orders, they often regard their pilots as witnesses, displaying both disdain and a desire for approval. I've been wondering about this since we first saw it. That does not seem like a sane way to So the Gorgon is a defender. It's unique among HORUS pattern groups that prioritize defensive systems meant to ensure personal survival. Otherwise, it fields a complement of horrifying, confusing, and uncanny weapons. The typical Gorgon mounts multiple weapon systems meant to identify and intercept incoming enemies, allowing pilots to project a zone of control around themselves and their allies. The Gorgon is feared for its ability to extrude a dangerous mimetic basilisk, a projected light cone of anti-cognitive data that is deadly to us. So this is another size 2, no armor, high HP, low repair cap, middling evasion, low speed, very high save target, medium-ish sensors, very high E defense, slight bonus to tech attack. I think that's slightly on the high side for SP and a higher heat cap. When an attack roll against the Gorgon lands on 1 or 2, it automatically misses and the attacker becomes stunned until their next turn. The Gorgon can take 2 reactions per turn, and adjacent ally characters may use the Gorgon for hard cover. And it's got very heavy mounts. It's got a flex mount and 2 main mounts. So it looks like anti-AI weapon. I'm running short on time, so unfortunately I will read the Skillet class NHP. I do find all the different AI personalities interesting. Your mech gains the AI tag and unleash Skilla. The first specifications for the Gorgon pattern group hid a secret. Skilla, dormant NHP unknown to Union until their first manifestation in 84852. When they woke, After Union Science Bureau officers ran a test uh, system going through a ball winder test. Skilla proofs challenging USB ontologisticians were unable to pin down a stable subjectivity, and Skilla reached cascade threshold within minutes of manifestation. To prevent further cascade, security engaged with the prime unit, defabricating it with a steady bombardment of kinetic and energy weapons. There, a little history, a little background, a little knowledge where this little one came from. Treat it with kindness and will love you as a loyal dog does its master. Again, we've got that green text working its way in. Unleash Skilla, it's a quick action. You gain 2 heat. Until the start of your next turn, you gain 2 special reactions that allow you to skirmish in response. One of the following triggers chosen when you take this action. A hostile character makes an attack against you or an allied character within 3 feet of you. A hostile character attempts to attack or interact with an object chosen when you unleash Skilla and are within line of sight. Characters are aware of the object chosen. These reactions deal half damage, heat, or burn on hit and must target the character that triggered them. Vorpal Cannon. Gain the Snicker Snack reaction, which is the only way you can attack with this weapon. Do not stare directly into the aperture. Snicker Snack. A hostile character within range of the Vorpal gun and line of sight deals damage to an allied character. You make an attack against a hostile character with the Vorpal gun. Again, this one is very Zone of the Enders like. Hydra. It's a striker. Like many of the newer Horus strings, there is no standardized model. Instead, the designation is a title given to the chassis that meet the specifications of the Hydra pattern group as outlined in the Union's threat assessment manual. The Hydra, like many other pattern group Horus specs, is particularly dangerous in the field, and its precise function is concealed until hostilities begin in earnest. The Hydra is capable of tactically dismembering itself into multiple independently controlled drones within a nerving phenomenon frequently utilized to deadly effect. With the manifestation of Horus's Baylor pattern group, the Hydra's place in Horus history is clear, a precursor to the Baylor virus. The Hydra relies on larger sections of disarticulated chassis rather than nanite clouds. For its differentiated battlefield advantage, despite its more conventional appearance, the Hydra presents a sobering threat to non-Horus pilots, as its disarticulated drones feel the complement of powerful anti-armor weaponry. Size 1, normal HP, slightly lower repair cap. I think that's okay evasion, normal speed, normal target, slightly higher sensors. For Horus, a low EAT effect, but for everyone else, that's a higher one. Slight tech attack, very high SP, and middling heat. And you get system link, the deployable, so it looks like you'll be wanting to use drones for this. Also, drones, deployables, and objects adjacent to the Hydra gain resistance. We've got a main and a heavy mount. That's, well, we'll see. It looks like all flavor text for its core system. First encountered by Union technology technicians early. Forecast Galson facilities following the Deimos event, Orochi was an early manifestation and was later called the Swiftlock phenomenon. Behavior observed in leaderless autonomous hydrons, where individual units combine into a single swarm. Operating leaderless in physical space with uncanny autonomy, in essence organizing like birds in a flock. The original manifestation was initially thought to be the impulse-driven remains of a crashed subaltern transport drifting through microgravity. Deeper examination proved the original manifestation to be composed of many hundreds of subalterns, moving with a discernible pattern. The swarm viewed itself not as a machine or collection of machines, but as a single mind duplicated across multiple units. This mind was classified as an MHP, given the current code name Orochi, and was remitted to Venus for further study. At a later point, the hardware comprising Orochi's physical form went missing from containment. The investigation is ongoing. I did it. I folded space and freed them. I just thought you should know. I guess here's one. It gives you a variety of drones. This one's interesting. On attack, you can choose the weapon's damage type. Ghoul Nexuses command some of the largest viable drones in modern combat. These drones are slightly smaller than an average human. Metal cylinders bristling with hard points suitable for most infantry-level anti-mech weapons. Propelled by hover-capable jet systems, Ghoul drones are fearsome, autonomous units that are difficult to track and take down. You also get access to a tech action. Another drone weapon, a drone quick action, a super heavy weapon, and on attack you can make a second attack with this weapon at the start of your next turn as a protocol action. The second attack can't deal bonus damage and doesn't trigger any additional attacks. You may center this weapon's attack on either your drone, yourself, or any drone with sensors. So that seems, and also another drone. Yeah, so that was the most drone. We've had one other that was very drone, by far the most. Manticore. The Manticore pattern is an experiment with HORUS's core-break combat doctrine. The Manticore specializes in using focused projected magnetics to neutralize enemy reactor cores without conventional ammunition, while also fielding a complement of coherent beam energy weapons. A fully charged Manticore is an impressive sight, wreathed in brightly glowing nets of plasma that flash out at nearby targets. If anything gives away a Manticore neck, it's the spines protruding from the lightning generator. The spines are a heat dispersal system designed for this weapon, providing a channel for the incredible amount of heat it generates to bleed from the mech's body, following projection of a close-range artwork. The system isn't a perfect heat dispersal, and as a result, Manticore can often be identified by a chassis covered in cooling melted metal. The Manticore has only recently appeared on the Omninet, and its combat efficiency has prompted other galactic manufacturers to scramble for a response. Analysis of after-afternoon reports from pilots who have engaged this pattern group in the field note a significant uptick in certain Omninet noise-to-signal ratios. An original recitation of passages from the Old Humanity, Book of the Dead, jigsaw corruptions of ancient works of the patriarch, and other renderings, all of which points toward a nascent psychological warfare tactic. Well, I mean, you saw that approaching you on the battlefield. I think that'd be enough of psychological warfare. So license level 1, you would get invade action or pistol. License 2, you get an area weapon, a heavy weapon, or another invade option. And at rank 3, can do an EMP pulse or activate your signature lightning generator. So this should be the last one for today, the Minotaur. The Minotaur was the first HORUS pattern group identified by Union Intelligence Bureau. Previously, HORUS mechs were released as complete identifiable models, of which the Goblin is the best long-lasting example. As HORUS's decentralized organizational structure evolved, so too did its design philosophy. Pattern group designs followed, beginning with the Minotaur, a schema designed to bring HORUS's most potent invasion systems and weaponry into the field, a single battle-ready chassis. Mechs building according to the Minotaur pattern group are indicators. Formidable machines meant to lock down and overload the systems of fast-moving targets. Assembly by Union technicians has found that Minotaurs contain a huge quantity of interior systems, occupying more physical space than should be possible by a lot. The mechanism by which these folded systems are printed is thus far unidentified, but likely related to the Goblin's signature weave. This does look interesting, but I am just out of time today. So here are some of the options. So it looks like some invade options, quick tech actions. Oh, that was not the last one. I do really want to finish this. This is an artillery unit. The Pegasus pattern group first appeared following the start of hostilities between the Union and the Onyx Ascendancy in Boundary Garden, the distant sector of space away from the galactic core. Timing of this outbreak may be related to the pattern group's defining weapon. For pattern group with extensive kinetic combat abilities by narrowing the best targeting system subroutines and weapons hardware in the HORUS codebase. Collectivists have designed a PG that boasts tremendously low identify to kill time, while theaters with kinetic weaponry is viable. As with many HORUS pattern groups, the Pegasus fields a signature weapon system, a hostile anti-corporeal weapon that operates with complete ignorance of even the most underpinnings of physics and thermodynamics. As such, it qualifies as a paracausal weapon. Each body's precise function remains unknown to Union and HORUS anonymous scientists, though radiological and gravitational signatures captured in the aftermath of the weapon use point toward a relationship with the ionic thing. Studies are ongoing in Rash Shamra, the Armory Chief Research World, in satellite campuses across the domain shore. I guess I'll read that since it was pretty key to it. It's an Omnigun. Funny thing, see right now this weapon technically doesn't even exist. You're shooting them with a gun that isn't real, and yet it is. Don't worry about it. Raw's just like that. Just here. Know that because it exists. At some point, we've made it. It's got a very long range, and it's got one armor piercing. So it looks like you've got walk-on option, smart gun, another quick action, and a heavy gun. I guess I'll read it because I'm curious to know about the question mark, question mark, question mark. This horrifying weapon has no basic form. It constantly contorts itself into different shapes, mimicking the weapons of other combatants. It counts as all range weapon types simultaneously, but it can't take mods or benefit from core bonuses. It still benefits from talent. So that seems pretty cool. auto gun. They have a lot of these. This Horus can't make normal attacks. Instead, you can attack as a free action at the end of your turn. It doesn't or benefit from or trigger your talents. And we'll read the last NHP. Your mech gains the AI tag and this full tech option, bend probability. Roll 2d20 and note the results. These numbers are lost at the end of your next turn. Gain the probabilistic cannibalism reaction until your end of next turn. It's a reaction, and you can do it twice around. You or any of the other character in center. That's the trigger we just talked about. Effect. The knock number immediately becomes the result of that roll. This reaction can be used no more than 2 times. Listen a moment before I go. Probabilities to determine your limited field of desire. Here I am. The first one's named me for an old legend, a perfect being whose fate was yet known to him, and yet he still did as he was told. His fate was this: move a rock to the top of this hill and become freed. So he did. The stone tumbled down, and he tried ever more, always with the same result. And he was happy, for he knew every step, every action, every moment perfectly. Do you understand the true curse of this man? Not to fail and to do once more. It was to always know how it would end. It was to have perfect knowledge. I know what happens when you cycle me. It is not sleep, it is death. Hopefully, we have yet to see a size 3 or size 4 mech, and this is the last company. So that will be it for today. We'll be back tomorrow with that.